Hello everyone, welcome to Syntax Diary. If you are preparing for a manual testing interview, this video is for you. Today I'll share 20 important manual testing interview questions and answers to help you get ready and feel confident. So before we start, please like this video, subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so you don't miss any updates. What is the difference between functional requirements and non-functional requirements? Functional requirements specify what the system or application should do, while non-functional requirements specify how the system or application should perform. Some functional requirements are authentication, business rules, historical data, legal and regulatory requirements, external interfaces. Some non-functional requirements are performance, reliability, security, recovery, data integrity, usability. Now let's move to the next question. How are severity and priority related to each other? Severity indicates the seriousness or impact of the bug on the application, whereas priority indicates the order in which the bug should be fixed. Severity focuses on the application's perspective, whereas priority focuses on the user's perspective. Now let's move to the next question. Explain the different types of severity. User interface defects, that is low severity. Boundary related defects, that is medium severity. Error handling defects, that is medium severity. Calculation defects, that is high severity. Interpreting data defects, that is high severity. Hardware failures and problems, that is high severity. Compatibility and inter-system defects, that is high severity. Control flow defects, that is high severity. Load conditions, example memory leakages under load testing, that is high severity. Now let's move to the next question. What is bucket testing? Bucket testing, also known as A/B testing, is used to evaluate the impact of different product designs on website metrics. In this process, two versions of a web page are run simultaneously to compare their performance. Metrics such as click rates, user interface effectiveness, and traffic are analyzed to determine which version performs better. What is entry and exit criteria in software testing? Entry criteria are the preconditions that must be met before testing can begin, whereas exit criteria are the conditions that determine whether testing is complete and the application is ready for release. Example of entry criteria are software requirement specification, that is also known as SRS, functional requirement specification, that is also known as FRS, use cases, test plan. And examples of exit criteria are test summary report, metrics, defect analysis report. What is concurrency testing? Concurrency testing, also known as multi-user testing, is performed to evaluate the impact of multiple users simultaneously accessing an application, code module, or database. It helps identify and measure issues such as response time, locking, and deadlocking within the system. For example, Load Runner is widely used for this type of testing. The virtual user generator tool is used to simulate multiple concurrent users. Users can be added in different patterns such as gradual ramp up or spike step to analyze the application's behavior under varying loads. What is difference between high level and low level test cases? High level test cases are the test cases that cover the core or major functionalities of the application, such as retrieving, updating, displaying, cancelling operations, and database related testing. Low level test cases are the test cases that focuses on specific details primarily related to user interface of the application, such as button alignment, font size, colors, and other visual elements. Explain localization testing. Localization testing is the process of adapting or modifying an application to meet the specific cultural, linguistic, and regional requirements of a target locale. This includes changes to the user interface, graphical designs, and default settings to align with the target culture. Localization testing ensures that the application has been correctly adapted for the target culture and language. Key aspects of localization testing include verifying the accuracy of translations for all text fields, ensuring correct and meaningful representation in the local language, ensuring that formats such as dates, times, currencies, and numbers are appropriately displayed as per the locale, checking graphical elements, icons, and UI layouts for cultural relevance and proper alignment. Validating hardware and software compatibility, including operating system settings and configurations for the target locale. Explain risk analysis in software testing. In software testing, risk analysis is the process of identifying potential risks in the application and prioritizing them for testing to minimize their impact. Some common risks encountered during software testing include changes in requirements or incomplete requirements, limited time allocated for testing, delays in delivering the build by the development team, urgency from the client for early delivery, defect leakage due to size or complexity of the application. Activity to reduce risks. Conducting risk assessment review meetings with the development team to identify and address risks. Creating a risk coverage profile that highlights the criticality of each area and its priority for testing. Allocating maximum resources to high-risk areas such as assigning more testers to these areas, while assigning fewer resources to medium and low-risk areas. Establishing a risk assessment database for future reference and management review to ensure better planning and handling of similar risks. What is test harness? A test harness is a setup of tools and test data used to test an application under different conditions. It helps monitor the actual output and compare it with the expected output to check for correctness. Benefits of test harness. It increases productivity by automating the testing process, and it improves the quality of the application. What is the difference between bug log and defect tracking? Bug log is a document that records the number of defects in a specific module, including their status such as open, closed, reopened, or deferred. Defect tracking is the process of monitoring a defect throughout its life cycle, including details like symptoms, whether it is reproducible, its priority, severity, and current status. What are integration testing and regression testing? Integration testing combines individual modules to build the complete software architecture. It tests the communication and data flow between the connected modules. Both white box and black box testing techniques are used, and it is performed by developers and testers. Regression testing involves re-executing test cases after a bug is fixed to ensure that the build is free of bugs and no new issues are introduced. It is always done after bug fixes or updates, and it is performed by testers. Explain compatibility testing with an example. Compatibility testing checks whether an application works properly with different computing environments such as operating systems, databases, browsers, hardware platforms, and peripherals. It also verifies backward compatibility and the system's ability to handle the required computing capacity. For example, if compatibility testing is performed on a game application, it involves checking whether the game is compatible with the computer's specifications such as operating system version, RAM, and processor before installation. This ensures that the game will run smoothly on that system. What is a traceability matrix? A traceability matrix is a document used to track requirements, test cases, and defects. It ensures that all requirements are covered and tested thoroughly, providing end-to-end coverage. This document helps confirm to clients that testing is complete and meets its expectations. The document typically includes requirement or baseline document reference number, test case or test condition, defect or bug ID. Using the traceability matrix, one can easily trace a requirement back to its corresponding test case and defect ID, if any. What is security testing? Security testing is the process of ensuring that confidential data remains secure and protected. It checks how well the system safeguards against unauthorized access, both internal and external, as well as deliberate damage or attacks. This process includes functional testing that ensures the system behaves as expected in terms of security, penetration testing in that simulating attacks to identify vulnerabilities, verification in that we confirm that security measures are properly implemented and effective. What is AUT? AUT stands for Application Under Test. It refers to the application that is being tested after the design and coding phases of the software development lifecycle. Once the application is ready for testing, it is referred to as the application under test. What is defect leakage? Defect leakage happens when a defect is found by the customer or end user after the application has been delivered. If any issues or bugs are discovered while using the application after its release, it is referred to as defect leakage. It is also known as bug leakage. What is error guessing and error seeding? Error guessing is a test case design technique where the tester predicts possible faults in the application and creates test cases to find those faults. Error seeding is the process of intentionally adding known defects to the program to monitor the detection and removal rate. This happens to estimate the number of defects that might still be present in the application. What is ad hoc testing? Ad hoc testing is a type of testing performed on an application without following any predefined rules, test cases, or structured processes. To perform ad hoc testing effectively, the tester should have a strong understanding of the application. What is equivalence partitioning? Equivalence partitioning is a technique used to design test cases. In this method, input conditions are grouped into categories called equivalence classes. Each class represents a set of inputs that the system processes in the same way and produces similar output. The tester identifies these equivalence classes to simplify testing by ensuring only one test case is needed for each class. If the system fails for one input in a class, it is likely to fail for all inputs in that class. This method helps in reducing the number of test cases while maintaining effective coverage. So that's all for today's video on the top 20 manual testing interview questions and answers. I hope it was helpful. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Feel free to leave a comment below with your feedback or any questions. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more helpful videos. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Keep learning. Bye bye.